I felt like I was not maybe smart after all.
Okay.
Maybe I'm stupid after all. And I think it also created a bit of a distance when it comes to my relationship with God. Now I am feeling energetic to say, you know what, I'm going to go and register tomorrow and
Yes.
repeat my third year. I'm going to redo this. Okay, it's happened, it's fine. I'll redo it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Grace of God channel. We are at it again. And in this 2025, we are still saying that God can. In this 2025, we are still saying there is nothing that is too hard for the Lord. In this 2025, we are still saying, God says in Jeremiah 29, verse 11, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a better future." So we are here to testify again about the goodness of the Lord, the mercies of God, and how He has carried us up to this far. And we say, Lord, we thank you. So as we start with this session, please help me welcome my sister. It's very difficult to call her doctor because, so help me welcome my sister, Dr. Zondy Mashamba. I'll forget the doctor part. She's Zondy to me, so yes. Welcome to the Grace of God channel.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So please tell our listeners who you are, maybe how you grew up, how you became a doctor. You know, it's very difficult, especially in this time and age, for women to go through school and for those many years. And did you do it in record time? What happened? Take us through, please. Introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Dr. Zondy, but I like saying Dr. Miachipopi rather than just Zondy.
So you are a mother?
Yes, I'm a mother.
How many?
It's one.
Okay,
One,
nice.
a 4-year-old boy and some boy.
Okay.
An answered prayer, actually.
Answered prayer,
Yes.
I love that.
So I'm Zondi, Rodidina Mashamba from Mukondeni village. I grew up there, went to my crèche, primary and high school from there. So basically I grew up in a family where what I was given was actually God. Because from the very first day, it was all about we knew that it's all about going to church. It's all about, even from Sundays, actually I'm a Sunday school product, raised from Sunday school. Then I grew up after my matric. I passed very well, good marks. Went to varsity. I was those.
I'm trying to reflect back to my marks, but anyway.
Actually, I was those smart kids that it's obvious she's gonna make it.
Wow.
So then I went to varsity, got to varsity 2012. My first year, it was easy. Second year, I was doing anatomy and physiology.
Okay.
Anatomy, I went for a re-exam. Physiology, I failed straight from the exam. Then I think I passed anatomy from after going to the re-exam. Then apart from that, I did physiology from 2013 to 2015. So basically,
one thing.
There's no record time.
Wow.
So 2013, I failed straight from the exam without a re-exam. 2014, I got a re-exam, failed at the re-exam. 2015, exam, then pass. But then even going forward from there, it was not easy. Academically, it was not easy. That smart person that I was before varsity, it was not like that. I used to get excited to see my name on the re-exam to say, oh, basically there's a fighting chance.
Maybe, sorry to cut you, just to dwell there a bit. You know, from 2013 to 2015 doing one module.
Yes.
And from a smart child, I'll call you that, and now all of a sudden you are struggling with one module, just one module, whereas you'll get distinctions in all other. How did you feel? How was it like?
I felt like I was not maybe smart after all.
Okay.
Maybe I'm stupid after all. And I think it also created a bit of a distance when it comes to my relationship with God. Because I remember I had this other neighbor who used to tell me that, Zondy, when the way you sit and study, if I can have that power to sit like you do, I will basically be passing with distinction.
Sure.
When for me, it was actually fighting to get a pass mark, a 50 on the dot, a 51, like nothing beyond 58.
Yeah. You are from a family, you were introduced to God from a very young age.
Yes.
Take me through that. Were you born again from when you were still a child, or it was just, this is God, God is this person, and God does this and this and this? Where did you meet with this God personally?
I would say I basically I grew up at church, so I don't think it took time for me to get to a point of saying, now this is me meeting up with God. And I think when it happened, it was when I was doing matric, because I got baptized while we were waiting for the matric results.
Yeah.
But before then, I was that child, the 1 hour grade, the one doing it's grade 4. Yeah, grade 4 standard 2.
Yeah.
Going to night prayers, going to, mountain prayers,
Yes.
wherein you fast the whole week, the Friday you fast the
Grade
whole
4.
day. Yes, and then from
Wow.
then you go sleep at the mountain. Like basically, the other thing when it comes to my foundation is the fact that I had my aunt, the one in Rufun.
Okay.
Yes, so she was the one who, when she says fasting prayers, I would be following her basically. It was
Okay.
me all about following her. When she says night prayer, follow them
Yeah.
and all that. Conferences, follow them. She reminded me recently to say, there's a conference that we once attended in Vleefontein.
Yeah.
And there's a pastor who mentioned that God has called you and you need to serve God. If you don't serve God, your things won't go well. I don't remember, but she's the one who remembers.
Wow. So she was keeping record of all these things.
Yes.
Is she the one who introduced you to God, or your parents?
My mother. I would say my mother.
And you'll go to these prayers at grade 4,
Yes.
fasting the whole
Fasting.
week.
From primary. Fasting. And not even these fastings that we do these days, wherein you fast
Yo.
and you can drink your water, or we call it, or when you fast, as long as you don't do this,
Yes.
it was the dry fasting.
Did you understand
That's
what
the
you
type
were
of
doing?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Or you were,
But
or
I
maybe
don't-
you're just fasting because
I was
people are
just
fasting.
following my aunt. I think it was more about following my aunt to say, this is what she says we do, and that's exactly what I will do.
Yeah. So I want to go back to you telling yourself that you felt like you were stupid.
Yes, it felt very...
You felt like you couldn't do anything. Did you feel like God was not there with you at that
Yes,
moment?
because at that point, at the moment I got to varsity, they said my home church, there was a church next to varsity that I was saving, actively saving.
Yeah.
When they say a service, I was forever there. So I felt like as much as I am standing up and being present for the things of God, why then am I struggling at school?
Yeah. And did you feel like the Lord has neglected you in a way?
Yes, I did.
And how did you come back?
So how I came back, it was an ex, his mother. So the ex was from he was a product of a praying mother.
Wow.
So the moment he introduced me to his mother, and
Yeah.
the mother became that strong support, also prayer-wise, she would encourage you to say, let's pray. Every time when you go to her, it was all about prayer.
Wow.
Then bit by bit, I went back to that lifestyle of we fast.
Yeah.
I am able to sit in my room and pray. I am able to sit in my room and read the word. I even had a friend that we would stay either in my room or her room. We would even be sleeping at each other's room to say, at least we got that time to say, it's time to worship. We worship. She
Yes,
preaches today.
yes.
I preach
Yes.
tomorrow. Yes. Then
Yes.
fortunately, even the guy, when I met him, he was just a product of a praying mother.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not in the things of God.
Yeah.
Then he also converted and he became a pastor in a way.
Wow.
So also that came to help me to also come back. Then I also became this strong person and walking with God.
I want to choose to believe that there are people that God placed in our life for a specific reason.
Yes.
I want to choose to believe that there are people that we meet on the road, and never mind it's in a relationship or it's in friendship or it's in church or wherever, that God will just use those people to bring you back.
Yes, that's true. Can I share something when it
Yes.
comes to that
Yes.
woman? So in that 2015, that was the year that I met her, the year that I passed.
Yeah.
That's the year that I got to know her. 2016, in my third year, exam time, there was 2 models that were a headache for me. One of them, I got invited for a re-exam.
Yeah.
I went for the re-exam. The other one, it was that thing of, I was surprised why I was not called for the re-exam. Does it mean I passed? Then, because now I was at that person who now had faith. I was like, okay, so meaning I've passed, only to get a surprise the day that the results came out. So when the results came out, I see that microbiology, it says failed supplementary granted, but I did not show up for the exam. I did not even know that I had
Wait.
qualified for the
So you
re-exam.
subbed without.
No, I didn't. I'm only seeing on my results that subject, I actually was supposed to have went for a re-exam,
Yeah.
but I did not know that I have qualified for a re-exam.
Okay.
Then only to when you ask, you get to find that it was the way they announced to call for re-exams. They did not do a list like normally. They just called people individually, and somehow they did not call me.
Zondy, your journey, especially when it comes to academics, it's not so easy.
No, it's not.
It wasn't so easy. And a lot of people, to be honest, give up. A lot of people will put their backs or maybe whatever that they have the books down and say, you know what, I'm going home. And there you are. 2013, 2014, 2015, you are failing one module. 15, there's also another microbiology that you failed as well.
That was 2016. The microbiology was
2016.
2016. Yes.
So it's like you are working backwards in a way.
So then it was when I got the results, it was December. Sometime in December, the ex-mother-in-law tells me that her and her prayer partners, they've opted to go for a mountain prayer to pray for me. Somehow
To pray for you.
Yes, somehow that failed. God must basically
Sure.
show up. We don't know how, but God must show up. They went to a night prayer. I was not even part of the night
Sure.
prayer. So at the night prayer, they mentioned that when they gave the report, when they came back, it rained heavily. Then they came back wet. Then I went back to school the beginning of the year. I reported the matter to the SRC. I was not invited for the re-exam, and I'm only seeing on the results. When I ask my colleagues, I'm being told that they were called personally. I never received anything. Then the SRC then starts to fight to say, she needs her chance because you did not call her. Then also in that January, the mother-in-law and the prayer partners
They're
and
busy.
me, we are now in a fasting prayer for the month to say that, God, we are giving it to you and you are going to intervene. It took until end of January for us to get an answer from management that they ended up saying, you know what, she can basically get a chance to write, only to find that it was not only me, someone else then somehow when they did the checking, they found that even this person was not called. We got called, I think we were 3 or 4. We got called to say we must come write. The day you're writing, I went to write. Then after writing, I felt it was still difficult.
Oh.
But now it was that part of you, when you have faith, you face situations better.
Say that again.
Yes. When you have faith, you face situations better. So then I got called to say I qualified for a re-exam.
Re-exam.
Yes, then I got for that re-exam.
My
Also the
God.
oral. I went in. Immediately after that, I packed bags. I went home. I'm like, I'm going to take a break at home as I wait for the results. Then I come back they say results are ready. I come back, I go fetch the results. When I get to the exam department, I had three of my friends, Pulu, Rabe, and Ompa. I print out the results. When I look at the results, it says failed. So it came as a shock. After all these mountain prayers, the month fasting,
Yo.
the results are still saying failed.
So you failed again.
Again. So now, everyone who was with me, they did not know what to tell me. Then we call the mother-in-law. She also says, "Where are you guys?" And we are at the exam department. We are walking back to rest. She's like, "Call me when you get to rest." Then we get to my friend's room. We call her, and no one on the road. No one knew what to say. It was a close to 10 to 15 minutes walk.
Yo.
No one was saying anything. We are all just walking. So when we got there, we called her. She asked me, she's like, "Who are you with?" I'm like, "I'm with Puru, Rabe, and Ompa." It's like, "My child, put the phone on loudspeaker."
Yo.
I put it on loudspeaker. She's like, "My girls, please, I know that it doesn't make sense what I'm about to say, but can you guys just do a prayer of thanksgiving?" She's like, "I'm also sitting here and we are going to be praying I'm going to be praying a prayer of thanksgiving." We sat with my friends. We prayed a prayer of thanksgiving. Not even a complaint of the results came back as fail.
It is well.
And then afterwards, we sat. Now we were able to talk. Now I am feeling energetic to say, "You know what? I'm going to go and register tomorrow and repeat my third year. I'm going to redo this. Okay, it's happened. It's fine. I'll redo it." Then come morning, I go there. Now my friends have classes. I'm going there alone. I go with those printed results, I go to the dean's office for the signature with that application registration form.
Yeah.
Then she looks at my marks. She's like, "Haibo, Maramusi, when you passed."
Wait. The very same marks that you failed.
Yes,
someone is looking at them
and saying, "Mara, when it says you have passed." Then I walked out. I did not answer her. I walked out immediately. I left everything. I go and I call the mother-in-law. I'm like, "Hey, Ma, you won't believe what's just happening." "What's up?" "No, when I went to the dean's office so that they signed my registration form, the secretary told Muru, "Musi, when you passed."
My God.
She started praying. Then now the secretary is coming. "Please wait for me here.
Yeah.
Let me go rectify this." Then she went.
She's going to rectify the fail that they gave you.
Yes. Then she went. It was rectified. It was now when she came back with a new results. It showed, "Okay, I've passed." And then afterwards, she does my things. I register, and now I am in. It was in the beginning of March, by the way. I am now in fourth year. I've already missed 2 months of school while sorting
because
that.
of what the Lord was doing.
So it made sense. Moment, it was like, okay, basically the prayers and everything, they were not really in vain.
Yes. So there is power in prayer.
Yes, and there's also power in not looking at what is happening, but instead give a prayer of thanksgiving. There's a verse that talks about in all circumstances.
Yes.
All circumstances is not even about when all is well. Even when you get a report that's bad, stand up and thank God for that.
Family, we are talking about a God who is able to even change the marks. And where people have put a stamp that you have failed, this God comes and says, "You have passed." And everything changes to favor you so that you can go forward. We thank God for that. And it just takes me to say, it makes me want to say, there is power in prayer. There is power in fasting. And we mean the fasting that we know, not the fastings that are being done now. The fastings that we know, that we used to do in the olden days.
Yes.
The Christianity that we live in the olden days, not what we are experiencing now.
Yes, that's true.
So going back to the basics, I feel it's one important thing that we need to learn.
Yeah, that's true.
That one thing that we need to go back and do. Those prayer mountains that we used to do, let's go back. I feel like there's power in that.
And also, I feel like there's no need in standing up and learning new strategies when there's a foundation of strategies that you've been given.
I think say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
And now I don't remember exactly how
Yeah.
I said it, but it's basically there is no need in me changing my strategies. I need to stand on the foundation, like the strategies that were instilled in you as a foundation. Those are the strategies that you must use for the
And they
rest
will
of your life.
sustain you.
Yes, they will sustain you.
They've sustained you from
Yes.
birth until you got to varsity. And now because you are struggling, you feel you need to change strategies.
Yes.
But you kept your faith. I was reading the book of Revelations 3, where God was saying, it was the angel who was speaking to the church, the message from God, and he says, I know your deeds. I know your works, but see, I have set before you an open door that no man can shut. But when it goes down, he says, I know that you have little strength, but you have kept my word.
Yes.
I know that things are not going well for you, but you have kept the strategies.
Yes.
You have kept the weapons. You have kept the word that I've given you to walk with. You've kept the faith. Yo, Zondy. I think let's move. Let's move because I feel like we're going to dwell more on this because, sure, it's a powerful testimony, especially on your academics. And to people that feel that they want to give up, there is hope. Here is a perfect example. Who failed not once, not twice, not 3 times, but God came through for her. God fought her battles even when she felt she was nobody.
Yeah.
God fought for her even when she felt she was stupid. Now she's a doctor.
And now even when I say I failed so many times, it feels like I'm just trying to motivate people.
Come on, there's not even a trace that you have. There's no sign, there's no mark that shows that you have failed.
No.
Zondy, you are a mother now. You are a mother, and take me through that. Are you married? Or it's the child from the ex that you had?
Not I. Okay. Okay. So
Sensitive buttons.
I'm a mother now. When
Yes.
I had my son, I was not married. I was just in a, should I say, what looked like a committed relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
allowed.
it was a committed relationship. And that's when I had my son. And even how it came about, I remember even I was now working, I was now a doctor. So now it was that part of, okay, God, I think now I want a child.
Yeah.
Then in that, I went into prayer and fasting for a week. Then I fasted. I told God,
Strategies.
I said, I need a child, but not just any child,
Yes.
a boy child. When I made a prayer, it was the beginning of March, somewhere the beginning of March. Then a month, I think, let's say almost a month later, then I found out that I'm pregnant.
Wow.
Then as we go, I find that it's a boy. So for me, it was it was an answered prayer. So it was a committed relationship. And then the other thing is in those years, as somewhere when I was still at school, that relationship with that pastor and the mother-in-law who was that strong support, it ended. And in it ending, it also somehow played a role in me also stepping back from God.
Yes.
Because I felt that, these people, I have been working with them. They've been that strong support.
Yeah.
And there have been ways to say this is God is saying.
Yeah.
And then why now things have turned south? I walked back and now I was just freestyling with life.
Sure. Putting your own strategies.
Yes, now I started having my own strategies that I felt, you know what, it's my life. This is how I'm gonna maneuver things. This is, I want 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to do it 1,
Yeah.
2, and 3 to get it.
Yeah. And
Yes.
did you marry the committed relationship guy?
Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't deserve a congratulation. Because one thing about the relationship with the committed relationship guy, when it comes to the people that I was close to and the things that I was facing in the relationship, when you would share that this is what and what that he did, this is what it was, people told me straight from after finding out the things that I go
Sure.
through to say, basically, this person is not taking you anywhere.
Sure.
You are basically signing up for
Yo.
pain and failure. But somehow now the fact that there's a child involved, it was that thing of I am going to do everything in my power to make this work.
While you are still there, I am going to do everything in my power
Yes.
to make this work.
Yes, because now it was about Zondy, what she wants and what she's gonna do. What is she willing to do to get this that she wants?
Was it cheating, betrayal, money? Because I feel like
One thing that from the beginning of that, let me say 6 months after the relationship, one thing that became a very common thing that we would fight about, it was girls.
yeah.
You
are in competition.
Yeah, no. And it somehow also played with how I saw myself. Because if Vele I am enough as a woman, why is the person that I'm with,
and you are a doctor on top of that?
Yes, why is he constantly going out to go find other people? 3 months, it's too much for us to not fight about a different girl. And majority of the time when you find out, it's not one person.
Oh, God.
It will be one person that led you to find out, but in that fighting about all these things, you find that actually it's not one person.
This is before marriage or after marriage?
That was before marriage.
And you did it your own way?
Yes, I was doing it my
and you
own
decided
way.
I am
and somehow I feel like there was also a part of trying to prove a point, to say what you guys are saying about him, it's not true. I know him better. You guys don't know him. You don't stay with him. You don't. As much as you from the things that I tell you, you have concluded. No, I know him. I thought I knew him better, but I feel now looking at it, it was the truth was there, but I wanted it became about proving a point to everyone who ever said this person is not your person.
And you were in your own world. Like, I'll say God because I believe God even shows us these red flags. You are in your own world. God is showing you. You know, he carried you from since you were young. And even when you decided to do it your own way, God is still saying, Zondy, this is what you have.
And you know, it got to a point where because now I wouldn't listen to anyone who would advise.
Yeah.
I would have dreams. Sure. In the dreams, I am seeing him chatting with different girls. I am seeing
in the
dreams. I am seeing him, like I would see it in the dream. Like so many things, I would see it in the dream. But then, even when I would address it, I keep having a dream wherein you are doing this. It became about. It's because when you don't trust me and you are always thinking I'm cheating on you.
That's why you are even.
That's why now you are even having dreams about it.
And it makes sense.
And it makes sense.
Yes, when you're in that world, it makes sense.
I believed it, that it's because I'm not trusting him enough. That's why.
And because I saw this and this and this.
As much as you will end up even believing it. But 3 months was too much for you guys to not even fight about a girl.
And you guys got married.
Yes.
How was the marriage like? And marriage, we are talking marriage, lobola.
Yes. Oh my
Not we are staying together, it's marriage.
Lobola.
Money was out.
Lobola.
I love you till death do us apart.
Yeah. And then I stood there and I was like, you know what? I am a married woman, and as a woman, when you get
Yo.
married, you change your surname and you change your identity. You adopt this new identity of your
Husband. You submit. You leave your home and you go clean onto someone.
Yes, I was fully submitted.
Fully submitted, hoping he will change.
Yes, hope somehow.
Or God will change him.
It was, because I don't think it was about God will change him. It was about, after I've endured all these things that he put me through, one day he's gonna wake up to the fact that Zondy has always been there. She has tolerated a lot. She basically deserves me to stand up and do right by her.
A lot of women are believing that.
Yes, that was my belief, that because of so many things that I went through with him, he's going to wake up and say, after all, the Zondy has been through a lot with me, she deserves my faithfulness. She deserves my...
Let me change. Zondy, there are a lot of women that are going through that. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, they are.
A lot.
Yeah, they are.
Others are even going to an extent of being raped by their own partners.
Yes.
Others are being abused emotionally. Others are being beaten, like even in front of the kids.
Yes.
Women are going through a lot, but it's like they are captured in a way. They are living in this world that my husband or my partner will change. I just need to endure a little bit longer.
Yes.
He will change. And before I say speak to them, are you out of that marriage or you are still there, or did he change?
I am out. I personally believe that the way it happened, God was basically saying enough is enough. And that thing that my aunt reminded me, then God was also saying it's time that I take back my own back to the... I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb.
Come on.
So the way that everything unfolded, it was basically God saying, I am now taking you back to myself. When we used to talk about getting married from, I think even the first month of us dating, then it was in September 2023. He tells me that I've got money now. I'm ready for us to get married. And I'm also going to go, and we are buying engagement rings. I had a ring on my finger, and then the day that
nearly said, "Where is it?"
Then the day that he bought the rings, he also said, "I'm also buying for myself because I don't want you to be the only one who's walking around with a ring. So to show that we are in this together, let both of us wear engagement rings." Then it now became I have to talk to my family and tell them, Ori, this person is basically saying this is what is going to happen. And how do we plan this? How do we do this and all that? It was even before the set date, November. Somehow we had a fight. And in that fight, I ended up going into the phone. I found Ori. We were basically more than 5.
Sure. In the period that he's preparing to come home in Paylobol,
we were more than 5. Then after finding out remember I still have this thing on the back of my mind that I'm going to prove to people that this person is not what they say.
And he's mine. He's even want to marry me.
And now that part of I'm willing to do anything. Remember going to the pastor and the wife that we had been referred to say they will offer premarital counseling. We had met up with them initially, so I called them. I told them, this is what is happening. So they came to the house. Then we had a meeting, and he said to them, More, I've cleaned up before for her. I'm going to clean up.
I've cleaned up before for her.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again.
I'm going to stand up now and also clean up all these women. I felt very happy to say that in the midst of all these million people that were there, he chose me.
And he's telling the pastors.
And yes. Then we continued with the plan of the lobola, it's going to happen and all that. Then the December when they were supposed to come from his side of the family, now it was about the news did not travel properly, and they are saying we cannot go and start paying lobola. We are only gonna go there to drop a letter to say we are asking to come and
Okay.
discuss lobola. So then it was of note. This
Yeah.
is the relationship of which his mother does not support, basically.
The mother doesn't support the marriage, and you guys are getting married.
Yes, she did not support even straightforward from the relationship.
Why?
She believed that this first baby mama was supposed to be the wife. And every woman that has come after that, we are basically side chicks that are breaking her son's marriage.
And the son is not together with the baby mom.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You don't want to believe anything anymore. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah,
said.
I don't know.
Because the thing is, you cannot say
Yeah.
that I'm not in a relationship with a person. This person stays in your home. When you go home, you
Yeah.
are going to a home where this person that you say is not, I'm not in a relationship with, is there. And in me finding out and even having to leave the marriage, I end up finding that
Yeah.
every time when he comes home, they are basically husband and wife. So that's why I say, so he said. So I was in some polygamy nyana that I did not know.
And the family went.
Yeah, the family came in March. It was on the 2nd.
Did the mother come as well?
No, she told even the people that had to delegate and be part of the lobola negotiations, some of the people, when they had to step back because the mother told them to choose between her and the son. So they had to step back.
Is the baby mama married? Or she's not married to the guy?
I think it's just the part of
Baby
unless
mama,
if
we-
I don't know, it's the part of they were dating. She was a girlfriend who even comes,
Yes.
stays, and all that. The child is staying with the mother. They call the place home, and It never said there was anything paid or any negotiations that happened.
So you married this guy, and you guys are divorced legally.
Yeah, in less than a year. You see, tomorrow, we are recording on
I'm
the
glad
1st.
you're not even
So
crying, yes.
tomorrow is the 2nd. It was supposed to be 1 year anniversary of Lobola being paid. Tomorrow. We're supposed to be saying happy 1 year anniversary for the Lobola.
But I'm glad you're not even crying. Do you know when God takes you out of something, like He also gives you strength.
And also
Yes.
the same thing that I said, that when you are facing things and now you
Yeah.
are facing it with God, with faith, it's a game changer. You won't even look like the things that you are going through.
Yo, so when you were thinking of divorcing this man, what was coming through your mind? Was it a decision that you made alone, or your family? Did the family know about what this man is doing?
When my family came to know about the story, it was the week where I was due to move out. So the decision was made alone. Remember with with the stories of the relationship, and now and then when I opened up about the things that I'm facing, they somehow started not really liking him.
Yes,
in a way.
it's fair.
Not really supporting
Yeah.
the relationship. It was only about the fact that, but this is what she wants. And my family is the kind of family that even if they don't support it, but if that's what she wants, we are gonna stand there and be happy for that.
So they were not in full support either.
They
No
were,
one would
yeah,
want
and
to
let
see
me
their-
say
their child-
let me say they were not in full support. It was the fact that this is what
Yeah.
I want, and they stood and say, let us support what she wants.
And you hit the hole. Would you say it is important to lay a foundation?
Very. Because one thing about this marriage specifically, it was the fact that the one thing that was wrong, it was the foundation.
Not the person.
I don't know if I
Yes.
should say the person, but for me, I feel like
Foundation. Yes, I love that.
the foundation was very wrong. The foundation was very wrong.
Yo.
It's a foundation wherein you. So I tell people that I think I knew the person that I was with. I knew what he was capable of,
From
and
the beginning.
I still stood and say I am doing this with this person.
Yo, Zondi. Take me through the foundation. How do you describe foundation? Maybe for people who don't know or who don't understand what we mean by saying marriage must be built on a foundation. What kind of foundation are we talking about?
One thing about marriage, it's an institution that God created.
Come
And
on.
in that being an institution that God created, it simply means that also God must be part of it. They now
Sure.
when you get to hear
Yo.
people talk about the types of marriages, they talk about there's a God-given marriage, there's a marriage that comes from the devil, and there's one where you make it yourself. You find your own person, you stand and you say, this is what I'm doing, and then that's when now you go and you want to go and invite God to say, come in. Where in also in that
When you messed
they
up.
found I mean I go find my own person in my
Yeah.
own terms without even telling God, or now I think it's time for me to find
Yeah.
a person. And then when I went there and I picked the person that I say I like, that I'm going to create life with, and then when as we are going with, we are creating life now, I come to stand and say, yeah, let me also say when situation starts being tough and you're like,
Yo.
God, please come and help me with these challenges. You went out and picked that yourself.
Yo.
Anything that you will definitely go and pick yourself and it doesn't have God in it. God was not involved in it. It simply means that the foundation is wrong. So in anything, the foundation must be God, this is what I want to, even with, not even with only with relationships, with anything.
With
With
anything.
anything. It's all about going to God and say, God, now I think it's time for me to buy a car. You when you go into those shops to check for the car, it's going to be an easy journey for you to get that one. But if you stand up and you just go find it and say, God,
Yo.
this is what I found, and please bless me.
Yo.
It's
And to be honest, people, especially, I'll say women, because I feel like we are the victims more. We take things, we take whatever that the guy will show you, we take the beatings, we take the cheatings, we take the diseases, we are willing to sacrifice.
I think the problem is we also love proving a point. And we also love that part of, as much as he's a cheater, as long as he comes back and picks me. Like you get
Yeah.
excited of the fact that he picked me. As much as there are these other people that he's entertaining, he picked me, and somehow it gives you this ego nyanayori, he picked me.
While you are still there, please talk to these women. Like, please talk to them, because I feel like you are in a good space.
Because I think that, the other thing that leads to us settling for whatever that comes our way, we do not know. Let me say, you find that I don't know who is Zondy.
Yeah.
I don't know what makes Zondy happy.
Yeah.
Then you get into this relationship, then you start saying, okay, this person makes me happy. Then now that person, no matter how he treats you, because this is someone who makes you happy,
Sure.
you will settle. I remember I used, no matter what he would do, as long as after that fighting, we can quickly get to a point of being okay. Because me and him being okay was the ultimate goal. But if you also, as a person, you have this foundation that it's all about God, you are able to recognize things that are not really giving you that peace, that
And
are not
God
really
shows us these
Yes,
things.
that's why I say now, even when I am out, I always remember those dreams to say, but God kept showing me.
Yes.
And
And we
I
said, no,
was-
God, wait. Wait, this is what I want. No, I don't want to
You know,
believe that.
let me give you an example of one thing that is very practical that God showed me, and when it happened, I still stand in denial. It was in Valentine 2023. I
Yeah.
make this gift. It's an album, it's our pictures with messages and all that. I gave it to him. That time I was working in Limpopo. Then I come back from Limpopo somewhere in April. Now when I was back in the house, I keep having this dream that book has been thrown away. And in that
Sure.
dream, it was being thrown away by him and a girl. I told him, I asked him, where's the book? It's somewhere in the house. When he would leave and go to the office, or when he's not around, I searched the house. I turned the house upside down. I think I might have done that more than 3 times. And that book, never in all those things has it ever resurfaced. In one instance, he even stood up and said, let me look for it myself. As he was looking, because I think because he knew, somehow now he turns things and starts making it about me. But God showed me that book was not there.
You sound like someone who's chosen by God. You sound like someone that God is using mightily.
I believe so now.
Have you been seeing things since, or you started seeing things when you were in a relationship with him?
The other thing that I remember that I saw, that my aunt also keeps reminding me, I think I was in grade 11. I had a dream. My aunt was married, not having a baby yet. I think it was a year after she got married.
Yeah.
I had a dream and I told her, you know what, I had a dream. And in that dream, you were having a baby girl. And your daughter was very smart. She did not know how to speak Venda. When she speaks English, you can easily mistaken that child as an English person.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened. The daughter is now 13-year-old. When she speaks Venda, you will think her parents are not Venda.
You are very blessed. I don't want to lie. You are very blessed. And I thank God that you came out. I thank God that you are in a better space. You know, when I say in a better space, you are even able to articulate it better. But above all, one thing that is making me be in awe is that you don't forget that it was God.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, sorry to cut you, at the end of it all, you still went back to God and said, God, that was you. I believe you.
Because when it came about to say, now I need to decide whether to stay in this marriage or not, God created a situation that even when that situation was created, now when I look at it, I'm like, basically God was the one saying, now it's time that I am taking you. I want you to go see this thing so that when you see it, you can be able to stand up and walk. But, being people, the Israelites.
Sure. Take us back. Take us back.
We were
eating there.
We are the Israelites. We pray, and then when God answers or when God shows you something, you still want another second confirmation to say, God, this is you saying this.
We are ignorant.
Because I remember the way it happened. I was not going on my period since I had my son. So that day I was doing my night shift.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I start bleeding. And some reason I have this sense where I feel dirty.
Sure.
Then a colleague that I'm working with gives me a tampon. She's like, you can use this. I still tell her, I'm like, my friend, I think I feel dirty. What I need is a bath. When I left to go for work, I had told him, I'm going to come back tomorrow by somewhere around 1, not in the morning. Okay. Friday night, he went out with his friend. I gave him, I'm like, you can go out. I'm at work. The child is at the grandmother.
Yeah.
You can go out with your friends. And then somewhere around midnight, I send him a message. All of a sudden I am bleeding. So now I'm talking to my colleagues. They say it's fine, I can leave. But I'm scared of driving at night. So I'm going to be back in the house very early in the morning.
Because you feel dirty.
My dearest husband did not open the message. If he had opened the message, maybe whatever, we were going to be talking a different story now. Then come morning, my colleague tells me around 6 to say, you know what, you can go. I drive off, I'm going home. I'm happy. And at that time, I felt we were also in a bit of a good space, but it was not even a month after we signed at Home Affairs. It was not even a month because we signed on the 30th of May. This is happening 28th June. So then when I get home, I'm opening the door. The moment I start with a door more than not a butler. I see a woman's clothes on my mat with armor, ice droppers in the counters and everything, and heels. I'm like, and then my dearest husband was coming from the bedroom they slept in, going to the bathroom, and he says, what that F word? And then he says it, he was like this. And then he's shocked, or why am I back home? Then he makes sure that he holds me down so that this woman can dress up and leave. Then he tells me to stop making noise because he doesn't want the neighbors to hear. Then as we are fighting, it's like, yeah, you planned this. You planned it, or when you are going to, that's why now you are even mentioning, or you are going to leave me. You planned it. I mean, how do you, I change my signing
Manipulator.
and then I stand and I say, well, I'm going to walk out. Now at work, they're even calling me with a different surname. How do I do all that and still say, I planned to walk out? Then even in that day of addressing the issue, he was not really much worried. At some point, he even told me that, because I asked him, what's this?
Yeah.
And then he told me, I met her at the club yesterday, and then I asked her, or she can come home with me. So it's a stranger from a club.
On your face.
So then he tells me that, because I was like, it doesn't make sense. You cannot just be bringing a stranger. And how? Why? Like, it did not make sense. Then he tells me that between his phone and the marriage, he rather choose the phone. But at the end, when you are saying, I'm leaving, he's saying, no, you are not leaving. But he tells you that I rather choose my phone. Then after that, I stand there. I am asking myself, do I stay? Do I walk? I just got married a few months ago. I just changed everything. I just changed even my surname. Remember, even when we went to Home Affairs, my family did not know. The Home Affairs story was between me and him. To say this is what we are doing. We've been dating for a long time. We've been staying together for a long time. Let us do things right.
Me and you.
Me and you.
Doing it
everyone
your own
else
way.
won't. Everyone. We even convinced each other to say everyone else won't understand. Then I'm like, I just changed my surname. Then how do I go back to work and tell these people, stop calling me by the new surname and go back to my old surname? Do I stay? Do I walk? Then in doing that, he now says he wants us to work on things. But we are not supposed to talk about it anymore. I'm supposed to sit back and watch the behavior. Now in that, I start being reminded of the fact that we keep fighting about this. Luckily, before then, I had met this girl that she was also now the one that we would pray together.
Yeah.
I was slowly going back into the life of praying. So she said, let's pray about this thing when I shared it with her.
Sure.
Then when we would pray, you see that story of the Israelites when they were being taken out of Egypt.
Yes.
And when God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Yeah.
That's what I saw that first. And that's why I say, for me, the situation, God created it so that he can basically take me out. Because I think the first 2 weeks I was willing to say, how do we work these things out?
After the clothes, after everything.
How do we work this thing out? Then there was even a family meeting from his side of the family. At this time, my family knows nothing that these people are facing this. I remember at some point, my sister even came to our place there. She did not even notice anything that there's a huge fight going in this house. Then after the meeting with the family, that's when I realized, Dori, you know what? I need to leave. I'm picking my bags and I'm going. It's fine. I'm going to be that girl who got married for 4 months or 5 months. It's okay.
And we are serving a God. We are serving a God that is able to even change that. I don't know if you know, but we are serving a God that is able to change our situations around. And I'm trusting God with a new marriage for you.
So, one day in that, just before I made a decision, you know what, I'm leaving. Remember when I was staying with this person, in that house, we playing gospel music in the house at any random day. It was a no. Because I would start playing a gospel music and I'm told, this is not Sunday. It's not Sunday today. Why are you playing the songs? Then when I play it on a Sunday, because majority of the time Saturday it was a drinking night for him, I have a headache. You are making noise for me. And then after you have stopped playing your gospel music, then now the secular music is going to play very loud. Now the question is, where is the headache?
Sure.
So one day in all that, he leaves, he went to his friends. I remain in the house with my son. I was playing gospel music. Now remember, for me to pray, it's when he's not in the house. It's also when I get in. It's also when I get in my car and I'm driving to work. That's when I'm able to pray. When I'm working a night shift, I can be able to take that 1 hour, get into the car and pray. Not freely in the house. Even the house itself, initially, the atmosphere for me to be able to pray, it was very difficult. It was very difficult. So on that day, I remember the song that was playing. It was "Yeah, Spirit of Praise."
I think we are also out of time, but yeah, we are finishing now.
Let your living waters and all that.
Yeah.
As she was singing that song, "Take God, take my marriage, I was like, you know what, God, take the marriage, take it. My son, take him. My work, everything, take it. Take it, and now anything that Zondy wants from now going forward. I want things that has you inside.
Thank you,
things
Lord.
that comes from you. If it does not come from you, I don't want it. If it doesn't have you inside, I don't want it. I remember initially I was sitting on the couch. I left the couch. I went to the bedroom. My son was on the phone. He followed me. I think I was not, let me not say crying.
Yeah.
I was weeping. I was even lying on the floor. My son came, he wiped my tears, he hugged me, and he kept telling me, Ma, I love you. That's what gave me courage to say, I'm going to pack and leave. I started looking for a place. I started doing lay-by for things that I will need for the place that I'm going to go to. I kept quiet. I was not talking anymore. It was as if all was well in the house. And then when the friends would ask him, he will tell them, we are okay. When they come and they ask me, I remember telling this one friend of mine, I am buying time for me to get to the day of me moving out.
Sure.
And then even the day that I moved out, he was not aware. The few days before moving out, I called my family. I told them, you remember when I said we are moving to a certain place? It's not me and the husband, it's me and the child.
Sure.
They ask why. I tell them, this is what happened, and I am basically walking. They stood up and they rallied behind me. Sure. My mother had to leave home and come and help me move. That was a week before my mother was around.
Such a support system.
And when she comes back, she's like, when I was here in the house, I did not feel that there was even a fight. Then I packed and I left. A few days after leaving, I went and I filed for a divorce. In that, I used to be someone who would drink, smoking, happily and all that. After moving out, it was that thing of, I want to face this situation sober. And then now it became, no, I want to face it with God. And then I went back to having the relationship with God. I found this amazing church wherein, I remember when I was looking for a church, someone told me, let's go to this church. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go to the church that you are inviting me. I want to go to a church that is me going back to the basics of how I grew up. I want a church with a Sunday school for my son, a church wherein they are going to be preaching the word, not me going there and be expecting to be prophet. I'm not saying there's anything with being prophesied. I want to go to a church wherein I'm going to hear the word and be built with the word. And I basically found that.
Family, we need another session for this. It's a lot. We need another session. We are out of time. But before we conclude, I want to say, I picked up something that she said, and I want to bring it to your remembrance. And before I say that, I want to say, if it had not been for the Lord, who has always been on our side, the enemy would have finished with us.
Exactly.
You would have been a doctor by name, but not a doctor inside.
Yes.
Your job was not even going to fulfill you.
Yes.
And you said something that you got to a point where you said, Lord, I am tired of doing things by myself. Take everything that is my desire and put your desire in me. And God did that. I want to encourage you today. You can do the same. that situation that you are in, that battle that you are in, that marriage that doesn't have direction, that relationship that doesn't have direction, that job that doesn't have direction, that sickness that comes and goes, you can stand up and say, Father, let your will be done. I am tired of doing things by my own self. I'm tired of using my mindset. I'm tired of using everything that is within my power. But I want you to take over. And let me tell you, God will take over. He's that faithful. If he did it for Dr. Rodidina Zondy Mashamba, he can do it for you. If he did it for Grace, he can do it for you. If he did it for Paul, if he did it for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, he can do it for you. He's the God that you need to trust. Be blessed.